So there is some assumptions. We'll go over the carbonite first,
Yes.
but I have assumptions that because you've already got one of these,
Mhm.
some of this will be same. A lot of it will be the same, except I'm going to show you the differences that you may have. I'm not sure if you have a TD panel for your other carbonite,
Yep.
or if this is all brand new, or looks this.
It's all new here in
All
this
new.
side.
Yep. So
You can
Uh,
do that in the other studio. Yeah.
so cool.
Good.
There'll be lots of touching because
Good.
that's why it's called a touch drive, TD. Okay, so just like any other ROS switcher, we have our panel. This is our big fancy keyboard. With the difference is this one actually has a computer running underneath. That is what's driving your touchscreen here. So the big screen on that side there is just dashboard also running on the expression. So as you punch buttons, both of these screens are going to follow along because we're in the live assist mode. If you did a menu navigation here in the dashboard, you will see we've got live assist. So as we make changes here, you'll see the screen will update.
Oh, very cool.
And it will depend on what you've hit, will be what comes up on the screen. Okay, so your physical panel has 2 rows, 2 handles. We are calling this section row 1. Some switches refer to them as stripes. So depending on where you're coming from, you might have different vocabulary, but we're referring to them as rows. Rows 1 at the top, row 2 at the bottom. Within a row, you have the same buttons. So you have these, what we're calling buses. So you have a preset bus, a background bus, also known as preview and program. Yeah, we use, our multi-viewer shows preview and program. Yet our labeling on the physical panel is preset and background. So, and there's a reason for that. For example, the background, also known as program, always is the background. We put keys on top of that. You can't put anything behind the background. That's your program bus.
Yep.
So bus is left to right, cross points, vertical, up and down. So that first button is considered cross point number 1, which is currently.
This is crosspoint number 1?
So, we work left to right in this country.
Yeah.
So that'll be button number 1.
Got it.
Sorry, you're going to get teased. So you'll see that currently has been assigned to black, BK.
Yep.
And then you got your cameras 1, 2, 3. You got an empty spot, and then you got your other sources. These are all changeable. You can customize this on the fly, which can be confusing, but also can be good.
Yep.
Depends on your show. So that very first cross point, it is the same. See, now I get to use my pointer. It's the same here all the way up. So you cannot have a different bus map for this row than this. It's always it's the same. Same on both there. So, all right, preset. That's your bottom row, and it's the same on each row. The bottom row of buttons on the row. That's not confusing. Why we call it preset? It's because this area here, the transition area, determines what's going to be transitioned next. Also known as the next transition area. And we've even labeled it transition. So if the background is not selected, what's in the preset bus will not be shown in preview. It'll just, and that can sometimes cause some confusion. Again, if this, the 2 things that are hard for folks to sort of wrap their head around, new folks at least, are the next transition area and also the memory section. So recalling a state on the switcher. So, all right, saying that, the next row we've got is the touchscreen. So you've got all these sources that are bus mapped. The touchscreen is interactive. You can touch stuff. So for example, you see there's a source called M1 and M2. They're orange. If you were to tap that, you'll see you get your device control because the media store is a device. And your 3-knob menu here. So this upper menu section, which, well, obviously it's newer, but compared to the old panel, the 3-knob menu is still there. But we just have, there's a whole bunch of buttons missing. But you'll see that this is just working just like the old panel. You have a menu, you have a next, lock and up, or home and up. You see these black lines here? If you hold down the next button, also known as the shift button, I can then hit back and it will go backwards through the menu. This top right corner of the LED here shows you what page on that menu you're in. So you see there's 1 of 2, so if I hit next, I'm going to get to 2 of 2. If you see there's a little, what do they call these things, carrots, or less than or greater than, you can tap on those and it will cycle through things as well. So back means shift and then you light up the menu button that has the back label on it, tap it and it will just go backwards through the menus. I hardly ever touch that. I'll just hit next to go all the way through the menus. The knobs though, spin them to adjust the value, push them down or double tap them down, it will go back to a default value. Tap once, it's like a selection, and depending on the choice that you have. So for example, because you selected the media store, you see in the top left it says media store. We've got 2 pages. You have Leaf loaded at the moment. You have a browse and a capture, and because I just tapped that, I'm going to hit back. Here we go. I've now just loaded in another image, which is, if you look at M1 in the media store, it's a capture I did yesterday of camera 1. Right, we'll go into the media store later on, but it's more just a tour of the panel at the moment.